from Yahweh. You see? And this is what Yahweh has declared at the end, right from the beginning. You follow that? Now, Yahweh is, I'm repeating, is spirit, and spirit is intelligence, wisdom, knowledge. The prophets all talked about it. He's love. Yahweh so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. You follow? And he's beauty, justice, as was explained by the previous speaker. He is the foundation. You see? He is the power and the strength by which all things come into being. Now, he transformed into an intangible tabernacle. Now, this is what we're trying to tell you about in the doctrine of the kingdom. That Yahweh, showing Moses how he created the heaven and earth, some 2,520 years from the Edenic state, is showing him how he created the heaven and giving him a pattern, you see, to bring down from the top of Mount Sinai, and he fits this tabernacle in the wilderness of Sinai. You follow? And Paul, after he is converted, he said this pattern was a pattern of heavenly things which carried you right back to those attributes. You see? Now, this tabernacle was made for one specific reason, which is to say that, well, let me back up a little bit. Before Israel comes out of Egypt, going into the wilderness of Sinai, Yahshua had appeared in Egypt 10 years after Moses had slain the Egyptians and had left out. You see? And after the expiration of that 40 years, Yahweh Elohim appeared to Moses and sent him back down into Egypt to bring the children of Israel out. Now, Moses and Aaron, his brother, met Yahshua in a tent, and it is called the meeting tent. Now, when they depart out of Egypt, Yahshua instructs them to bring the meeting tent with them. You see? Now, when they get in the wilderness, this tent that's down in Egypt, that's illustrated here on this chart, you understand? It was pitched on the backside of Mount Sinai. You see? Well, after Moses viewed how Yahweh creates the heaven and earth, Moses and Aaron meet with Yahshua in the meeting tent behind Mount Sinai. Moses is instructed after he views this to come down and build a tabernacle that he might dwell amongst it and not afar off from them. Now that is the divine reason for this tabernacle being made. You see? You follow? In other words, Yahweh is not dwelling off from us, but right amongst us. You see? Now, let me get back up into this and try to bring this down where you can understand what we're saying. And our stammering is not because we don't know, but it's picking out things that we think that will help you to, or cause you to want to know. You understand? So you'll have to overlook our seemingly making mistakes as we go along. It is not that. It's our sincerity to try to point out vital things. Some things that, before we came to this gospel, was in our hearts and minds. And we are glad that Yahweh has found favor in us and answered those things for us. And by that same thing, we don't consider that we're any different than anybody else. By that we mean that you've got the same questions, such as where did I come from, where I'm going, is there life after death, is there a creator, and whatever, you see. Now, Yahweh is threefold, you see. And it's hard to teach any particular subject in that all of them, there's nothing that's going on that's outside of the purpose of Yahweh. Now, Yahweh is the Father, the Word, and the Holy Spirit, and these three are one. You see? Now you know that simply by this form that Moses and the 70 elders saw in the top of Mount Sinai. And we give you a description here. That they went up Moses and they on the bayou, and they saw the Elohim of Israel. They saw the creator of heaven and earth in that cloud that led them up out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of bondage. You see? Now, he is manifested in a man-like shape and form, a body of heaven in his cleanness. Now, he has a head, he has a chest region, and he has an abdominal. In other words, he is threefold. In other words, it's likened unto the Father, the Word, and the Holy Spirit. These three are one. Now, and it's been said by the Apostle John said, in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with Yahweh, and the Word was Yahweh. You follow? That was Yahweh in a shape and a form. You see? And that can readily be understood. That if they saw him in a man-like shape and form, then when Moses sees him create the man, he says, man is made in the image and likeness of Elohim. He was able to compare this form as compared to that first man created. You see? Now, if Yahweh is the Father, the Word, the Holy Spirit, these three are one, then when he moves in the shape and form, yes, you follow, then he's threefold in this shape and form. You see? Then he produces or transmigrates or transmutes into an intangible tabernacle. And the tabernacle is a most holy place, and a court round about. In other words, it's threefold but one tabernacle. It is not three different deities in the so-called Godhead, as the world commonly calls it. You see that? This is Yahweh's supernal nature to be the Father, the Word, and the Holy Spirit in one embodiment. You see? You follow? Now, when Moses views how he created the heaven and earth, watch this same pattern, the archetype pattern, manifest the same way it comes forth from Spirit or Yahweh. Then you got on the first day, the light divided from the darkness. That's light, one, darkness, with the twilight in the midst. That's threefold. You see that now? Now, each one of them, to condense now, because it's already been stated, and other speakers before me have gone into this in part. So they have showed you that even the creation has this threefold makeup. And when you read the Genesis, you follow, that Moses wrote, you would never get on to the idea of where he's getting. Yahweh is dividing the light from the darkness with the twilight in the midst. He's dividing the waters beneath from the waters above with the firmament in the midst. You follow? You never catch on that creation is coming in by Elohim, that original archetype pattern of the universe. You see? And that's the missing link in our understanding throughout the world. You follow? It is not something that you can decide, such as science will say that they do not see how the sun, how vegetation can come forth on the third day of creation when the sun was put there on the fourth day. Well, we're saying to you, revealed to us of Yahweh, we don't see how the vegetation can come in without the sun either. But this is not, the S-U-N is not the sun we're talking about. This, in the beginning, was the Son of Yahweh, and all things were created by that Son, which is the archetype pattern of the universe. So it is this Son that's bringing in the vegetation, and it's also this Son that's bringing in the S-U-N. You see that now? Now, when you get down to condition, when you get down to the man, since Yahweh is the Father, the Word, and the Holy Spirit, these three are one, then he's manifested in an incorporeal shape and form. And those three, he's in this shape and form. He is the Father, he is the Word, he is the Holy Spirit. He is one embodiment, as proven by the pattern of the tabernacle which Moses brought down and they pitched in the wilderness of Sinai. You follow? Now, then when you get down to the man, or the whole creation is coming in by that threefold intangible tabernacle, which Elohim is that original archetype pattern of the universe. Then when you get down to the man, then the man has to be made up the same way. Therefore, he is spirit, soul, and body in one embodiment. He is not three different people, but he is pneuma, psyche, soma, or he's spirit, soul, and body. Now that's creating him in his image and in his likeness. You follow? Now, all things were made by this Elohim, the archetype pattern of the universe. You follow? And that, I'm repeating, that is the missing link where mankind cannot see and nor understand reason, because this is only seen in visions and in revelation. And we have gone ahead to try to teach what thus saith Yahweh, or thus say what saith God, without having seen this, and all we're doing is making a mess. You follow? For example, we look and see that Joshua, who was Yahweh manifested in the flesh, as Paul said in 1 Timothy 3:16, without argument, without controversy. Great is the mystery of Yahweh. Yahweh was manifested in the world. You see what I mean? Believed on in the world, received up in the glory. You follow me? You follow? So I'm saying this to you, that we did not know that who this really was. We thought this was God's little boy. We were all victimized by those concepts, not recognizing that how to put this together by a divine pattern. You understand? by which all things emanate or come forth from and yet abide within. Now, to show you some of those things in part, if this man here, called Elohim, has dominion over the heaven and earth, then when he puts on a body and called Adam, then y'all would have to give him dominion to prove the divine authenticity of this being the Son of Yahweh that he gave power to. You see what I'm talking about? He has dominion over all things, you follow? And in this state, he is the creator, you follow? And without him, you see, was nothing created. Now, we often misunderstand how Yahweh creates. We often think he takes something to create something with it. We try to abolish that way of thinking by telling you that Yahweh, in his shape and form, or before he puts on the shape and form, he is the source. He is the substance, you see, and he is the bounds and the limits. Therefore, when he asked Job, said, where were you when I said the sea should come to hither and no further? Where were you when I set a compass upon the face of deep? You saw him? And Job said, yea once, yea twice, but hence no more. You understand till the end? And even that, since we talk about him being a threefold path, even Job's answer was yea once, yea twice, but no more. You see, so even his answer was threefold. You see? So I'm trying to show you that these things that we are trying to present to you, that you might be as Moses, here at the burning bush said, I will turn aside and see this great sight. You follow? Now, we know that no man knew, it is stated in the book Exodus, that no man knew the name of Yahweh until Yahweh gave his name to Moses here at the burning bush. And there's much controversy about the name being Yahweh. You see? Meaning that we've had it said to us, that's a Hebrew name. You follow? Well, I would like to say this to you that might answer or respond that way, that Moses was given this name of the Creator, or Yahweh. He was given that name, and he took it down into Egypt, which were Gentiles. So then the Gentile received the name, you see, from Moses, just like Moses received it from Yahweh. Now, what he says in the beginning, when he writes about how he saw the heaven and earth, he says in the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and earth, which is telling you that even by the name or the title, Elohim, nobody knew him. Everybody prior to Moses having the bird vision here, and this is the vision. You see? Bush burning with fire and not being consumed. That shows forth it is a vision. And Yahweh appeared to him in an angel-like form. Now, when you read this, you will find he said, I am Yahweh, I am Elohim, and he was the angel. In other words, he's all in all, through all, and that's all. He's demonstrating that principle here to Moses. You follow? Which shows it is his shape and form, the creator of all things, and by him there was nothing made that was made. So, now, but what I'm trying to get to in this discourse is showing you that Elohim is the archetype pattern of the universe. You follow? Now, so when Moses writes, he couldn't say in the beginning Yahweh created the heaven and earth, because had he created in this state, it would have still been abstract or incomprehensible or inconceivable. So he took on the shape and the form. You follow? And many cannot see this unless he declares or reveals himself to you. You see? You follow? But when he puts on or spirit coming through those changes, coming through the veil, let me point it out. Coming from spirit to incorporeal to a physical manifestation, then matter is spirit materialized. You see? Now you can see this. See? So therefore Paul penned this, he said, for the invisible things, those things which are invisible, you understand, of Yahweh, Romans 1:19-20, are clearly things being understood by the things that are made. Now let me give you an example of that. We try to tell you that God is not no threefold person, as you've taught, and Jesus is one of the trinities in the Godhead. You see, that is erroneous teaching. You follow? You understand? Now, there is nothing in the universe that is not threefold. There's nothing in the universe that's a trinity. And you don't have the word trinity in the Bible. And yet still we say we believe everything that's written in the Bible. You see, my subject is Elohim, the archetype pattern. You see? And I'm conscious of the fact that when we present things, you don't know what to compare them to. So that's why I say in my discourse, I'm trying to show you what the world teaches and what this gospel will teach you. You saw? And it's confirmed and backed up in the universe in its sum total, and you throw it in for good measure. You see? By that I mean you're not three different people, so then how can your creator be three different personalities? You see what I mean? And he made you in his likeness and image to abolish the thought, you see, that he's three different personalities. These here, O Israel, Yahweh, our Elohim, Yahweh, you understand? Our Elohim is Yahweh a unit, not a trinity. You see? Now, and I want to get into that in this brief discourse to prove that he said in Zechariah 14:9, in that day he would prove himself to be a unity and not a trinity. I added not a trinity for clarification. But he said, I will, in that day, he will prove himself to be a unity. You see? And it's that unity that we're lacking throughout the world that is causing the conflict between